Who am I? See, I start every morning with this profound question, hoping that I've made a change, I've made progress by design. Who are you? If somebody asks you that question in the middle of the day, in the middle of the street, you're probably not thinking about the deep meaning of the question. You're most likely to respond with your name. So let's look at this situation. Who are you? My name is Jackie Smith. Is that who you are? A combination of letters? Jacquie? No, that's just my name, Jackie Smith. It's just my label. I am Frank Smith's wife. Oh, Jackie, that's not even politically correct in today's world. Did you exist before you married Frank? Oh yeah, of course. I was born in 1954 and I grew up in Arlington Heights, and I moved with my parents to Chicago when I was in my teenage years. Jackie, I really appreciate your story from day one, but it's not what I asked. Who are you? I am the body occupying this planet. I am 5 feet 4 inches tall. I'm 140 pounds. And Jackie, let me stop you right there. When you were 10, you were only 4 feet 5 and you were less than 100 pounds. Who was that? As a matter of fact, who's the person looking at the mirror back then and who's the person looking in the mirror right now? Is it the same person? Imagine that you had a very long day at work. You were concerned about something. You were worried about something. And now you're driving home. All of a sudden, you realize that you have arrived. Here is your garage door, right in front of you. But one thing that shocks you is that you don't remember any details about your ride home. Come on, I know you've been in a situation like that. Who drove the car? Who was the one responsible to stop at the stop sign? Who was the one turning on the blinker? Who was the one knowing where to turn left and where to turn right? It wasn't you. It was your body. So we can agree that you are not your body. Then who are you? Who are you then? If you're not your body, then what are you? The greatest philosopher, René Descartes, said, "To think, therefore I am." Oh, I know who I am. I am the voice in my head. Is that who you are? Who is the voice in your head? If you're the one hearing the voice, are you the voice speaking or the voice hearing? So if you see somebody on the street asking a question and answering the question himself, talking to himself, would you think they're normal? You would think they're crazy. Why is this happening to you? Why are you constantly arguing with yourself? Is it you arguing with the voice or the voice is arguing with the voice? That happens sometimes. And you're just the one observing the argument. The voice is asking the question, the voice is passionately answering the question, the voice is getting into the argument, the voice is getting angry, and you're just there in the background observing. So who are you? If you're not your body, and if you're not your voice, then who are you? Let's go back to science. They say to think means to form thoughts, to use the mind to consider ideas, and to make judgments. So how does the mind know what to say? And who's in control of the mind? You are. But who are you? How do you take control back? And what happens if you don't have control? What happens when you give your control to your mind? Well, your mind communicates with your hard drive. Your mind communicates with your emotional heart. And your emotional heart is storing every single image, every single sound, and every single emotion. So see, our life is filled with core memories. And at some point in your life as a child, you've collected a very happy core memory and a very sad core memory. And see, if you didn't challenge that core memory, if you didn't really analyze it, if you didn't experience the core memory fully, if you held of the emotion, you stored it in your emotional heart. And when you give full control to your mind, when you release the mind to do whatever the mind wants to do, the mind will go to the emotional heart and search for problems to solve. Search for those core memories that have been preventing you since 6th grade to make a proper decision. Your mind is going to look for things that are offering this pain with the same intensity. See, a core memory from 6th grade could have the same exact intensity, the same exact emotion 60 years later, because you never dealt with it. So our emotional heart is filled with those good memories and those bad memories, but are there really any good memories from the past? Because if you think about it, even if you imagine those beautiful moments of winning from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when you were very successful, it's going to feel good. At the beginning, it's going to feel so great. You're going to be able to experience the same emotion. But at the end, it's going to end with nostalgia. You would end with the realization that these times are never coming back. So is the emotional heart holding any positive information at all? Most likely no. Most likely even the good memories are stopping us and are creating these mental blockages, so we cannot move forward. We cannot even be present. You can take control over your mind, and you can use your mind as a processor. Just imagine a computer, and you have this processor who has access to a hard drive with a limited amount of files. That's right, we have access to a limited intelligence that is 100% present in any part of the world. But in order for us to have access to that intelligence, we need to clear the emotional heart. So we create a highway of energy, of the most powerful energy, love. And the more love we allow in our emotional heart, the more we're going to overflow with love, and we're going to pass it on to our surroundings. The more we control our mind, the bigger chance we have for our mind to be our biggest cheerleader, to be our biggest raving fan, to give us courage when we need it, to give us purpose when we need it. But if we don't align those departments, our body, our mind, and our emotional heart, it will be very, 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 very hard to operate from the throne of power. When do we control that entire being? Let me give you one last experiment. Look out the window right now. No, I'm not kidding. You really need to go out the window and look at what you see. You see a perfect high definition image, and your mind doesn't need to analyze anything. You don't need to think in order to see the tree, see the house, see whatever you see, which means you already know everything you need to know. You are now connected to this unlimited intelligence, and that intelligence is called consciousness. See, there's nothing higher and deeper than consciousness. So you are truly in the throne of consciousness when you have full control over your body, your heart, and your mind. Emotions. See, every emotion is a beautiful emotion. Sometimes we experience anger, sometimes we experience joy, sometimes we experience guilt, we experience shame. When I ask the average person, what do you really, really want? 9 out of 10 people would say, I just want to be happy. I want happiness. So what is happiness? I think happiness is something that depends on circumstances. It's something that is conditioned, which means there's particular things that need to take place in order for us to feel happy. What are those things? What are those requirements for us to feel happy? If we look at the emotions, do you really want to be happy all the time? Let's say you're a gentleman with a beautiful lady, and you go out to a restaurant and someone is extremely rude. Someone is actually physically abusing your lady. Are you going to stand right next to her being happy? Is that the normal emotion that you always want to experience? Because some of those people that I ask, what do you really, really want? They say, I always want to be happy. Well, there are some moments when you're supposed to be sad. There are some moments when you're supposed to be angry. There are some moments when you're supposed to be happy. But what is the difference between happiness and joy. See, you need to work for happiness. Things need to take place in order for you to feel 100% happy. And if you remove one of those things, you're no longer happy. So you could have all the money you wanted, you have all the cars you wanted, you have the house, the mansion, the yacht. But if you are not with the right significant other, here goes your happiness. Now, joy is very simple. You just choose joy. It's a matter of perception. Every situation in our life could be considered a tragedy or comedy. It is our personal choice. And our personal choice depends on our view towards the world. So if we answer those two questions honestly, we will probably determine our ability to experience joy. The first question is asked by Albert Einstein, one of the smartest people who ever lived. He asked, do you live in a hostile world or a friendly world? The second question is, do you live in a world full of miracles or a world with no miracles? You already know the answers you need to have in order to be able to experience joy all the time. Now, if we go back to emotions, where does the emotion of guilt come from? Have you ever experienced guilt? Which means, because I carry guilt, I should be punished. Have you ever experienced shame? Shame means, because I'm ashamed, therefore I should hide. What is the difference between guilt and shame? Guilt is definitely an event that took place in our life that we need to forgive ourselves for and move on. But shame is a lie. Most of the time, lie that didn't come from us, but when it comes from us, when it comes from our roommate, our good friend, our mind, then it's really, really hard to challenge that belief system. It's really hard to challenge that lie. Do you suffer from blame? Are you constantly blamed by your loved ones? Are you surrounded by egomaniacs who blame you for everything that they're supposed to be responsible for? Because if you feel that feeling of blame, you probably carry a lot of it, and therefore you should carry all the burdens. Do you feel like you carry all the burdens of your employees, all the burdens of your family members, all the burdens of your friends? Do you feel that you carry that luggage? What about unloved? Are you lonely? Do you feel like everybody must love you a little bit more? Maybe because you're unloved, therefore you should be perfect. Speaking of perfect, are you imperfect? Or are you already perfect? See, this word is perfect because you could read it as I am perfect or I am imperfect. What is it for you? If you're imperfect, it's because you're imperfect, you should imitate. Are you also broken? And because you're broken, you want to appear whole? Are you chasing somebody else's dreams? Fulfillment is the meaning of life. Finding your true purpose and living your best life while experiencing joy for the majority of the time. Remember Robin Williams, a very positive person who reached a very, very high level of manifesting dreams. Not only his dreams, but dreams of many people. See, I think Robin Williams felt at some point that he was imperfect. He had a dream to be a great actor on Broadway, and he was pronounced as one of the greatest who ever played. Then he wanted to move theater into TV. He was able to do that. Created a TV show that he wanted to move into a motion picture. Then he created a drama mixed with comedy and comedy mixed with drama. He was able to connect both. And then he became one of the greatest actors who ever lived, with such a variety of different movies with different emotions. He also helped thousands of people to overcome suicide, and he saved them from depression. And he ended up taking his life away because of lack of fulfillment. Don't make the same mistake as Mr. Robin Williams. Find your fulfillment and find your purpose by going on the journey to the elite version of you. You're wondering what it takes. How long is it going to take? Who's going to help me out? I don't know the answers to all these questions. You're giving me too much information, too fast. I'm still confused about all these different departments. My mind, my body, my emotional heart. How are they connected? How do I control them? Listen, there's a process called metamorphosis. Every time when you try to achieve something, every time when you have a big goal, or every time when you're searching for new identity and you want to create a change by design, you're going to go through the same process. So the process starts with what you're experiencing right now. You believe that you can become the elite version. You are ready to try. You have the right amount of desire to invest in yourself. You're finally sick of being sick. You're finally sick of pretending to be somebody else. You're desperate to find out who you are. So you are in a state of inception right now. And the longer you stay in that state, the greater momentum you're going to create for yourself. Momentum will be crushed by the second stage, called deception. This is the stage where your best friend, your mind, is going to be very, very active. Your mind is going to tell you everything you need to know about your failure. Your mind is going to bring fear. And fear is going to be very logical. Your mind is going to work on creating more data and delivering more data on why you're going to fail. Your mind is going to sound very believable. If you believe your mind, you're going to quit. 99% of the people quit in that stage. What you need in order to survive that stage is someone who had survived, someone who is on the other side, someone who can give you courage, who can support you, who can tell you what the next step is all about. And you also need determination and reasons why it's important for you to find the elite version of you. See, this is a personal choice. You can choose to stay in the comfort zone and to never find who you truly are, or you can choose to do whatever it takes and never give up until you become the elite version of you. If you survive that stage, you earn the right to reap the fruits of transformation. See, in the transformation stage, you're going to believe that it's possible. You're going to see that replacing some of the bad habits with good ones is actually working. The quality of your life is going to change. You're going to be 100% convinced. This is beyond believing. You know that you could become the elite version of yourself. And now you step on the gas and you invest all of your resources towards becoming the elite version of you. Because that's what it takes. It takes focus and it takes massive action to become the elite version of you. But you need to reach the transformation state so you can realize all that. And when you invest and you go all in, only when you invest and you go all in, you're going to reach the final stage, the elite version of you. In closing, if you're trying to become the best version of you, and if you're also trying to influence many others to become the best version of themselves, if you're a leader out there, and if you're struggling with those issues, if you're putting off clients and you're not generating work, if you're trying to focus too many things at once, if you're not networking with like-minded people, if you're not focusing on your top 5, if you're definitely constantly worrying about what could go wrong, or you're pricing your products and services way under than what your actual value is, or if you're fooling yourself that you're not going to burn down, and if you're setting high goals that are unachievable, and if you're experiencing those feelings of guilt, shame, blame, unloved, broken, and if you feel that you're not perfect the way you are, maybe it's because you're allowing your mind, who isn't you, to sabotage you. See, one of the best discoveries in life, one of the biggest breath of freedom we could experience is understanding that that stupid voice in our head is not who we are. Because that voice is responsible for our guilt, shame, blame, the fact that we feel unloved, broken, and also the voice that suggests that we're not perfect. I can show you how you can take control over this voice and start using it in your favor. Make that voice your best assistant. Make that voice that constant courage that you need in order to achieve things that many people don't even visualize. Make that voice your partner. Make that voice your unfair advantage, and make that voice the connector of the unlimited intelligence you actually have access to and you're currently not taking advantage of. I'm going to go over 3 challenges that are going to get you there, to point B, whatever that is for you. Because look, if I tell you, go to California right now without a navigation system, you're probably going to waste at least a month before you get there. But if you have a navigation system, if a navigation system tells you when to turn left, when to turn right, and if it's there to support you if you take the wrong turn, then you will get to California faster. What if I tell you that you could become the elite version of you, or to at least build the foundation that is going to take you there in only 90 days? Follow me in the next step, and I'm going to show you exactly what it takes, how long it takes, and the people that need to be involved in your life so you could become the best version of you. Consider yourself blessed, because today is the first day of your new life.